Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're not just discussing a character, we're dissecting a cosmic force, a being whose very presence in the Bleach universe is a chilling philosophical argument. We are, of course, talking about Yhwach, the Quincy King, the father of the Sternritter, and arguably the most formidable antagonist Ichigo Kurosaki ever faced. Yhwach is far more than a powerful foe. He is an embodiment of absolute will, a living paradox and a terrifying vision of destiny, intertwined with an apocalyptic ideology. So let's embark on this deep dive, peeling back the layers of Yhwach's intricate lore, the terrifying extent of his powers, and the profound philosophical implications of his existence. The Soul King's son, a paradox of life and consumption, Yhwach's very origin is steeped in paradox and cosmic irony. Born the son of the Soul King, a being whose existence maintains the delicate balance of the three worlds, Yhwach begins his life as an anomaly, blind, deaf, mute, and immobile. Yet, he possessed an innate, terrifying power, the ability to distribute fragments of his soul to those who touched him. These fragments would heal the recipient's physical, mental, and spiritual ailments, but at a cost, a shortening of their lifespan. Upon the death of these individuals, the soul fragments, now imprinted with the accumulated experiences, knowledge, and power of their hosts, would return to Yhwach, gradually restoring his senses and mobility, making him whole. This innate ability, the soul distribution power, is the foundational philosophical pillar of his being. It defines him as a being of inherent consumption, a devourer of others' existence to fuel his own. It's a reversed Quincy ability. While other Quincy's absorb Reishi from their environment, Yhwach disperses his spirit only to reclaim it, vastly amplified. This sets him apart, establishing him not merely as a leader, but as the literal progenitor and ultimate destination of all Quincy souls. His very being is a testament to a cycle of power that begins and ends with him, a living black hole of spiritual energy and experience. This initial state of helplessness and subsequent relentless accumulation forms his fundamental understanding of the universe, that all existence is ultimately meant to be absorbed and unified under his singular will, the almighty, omniscience, omnipotence, and the eradication of the future Yhwach's signature ability, the A-Schrift. The Almighty is where his philosophy truly ascends to a godlike, terrifying level. This power transcends mere foresight. It is a declaration of absolute dominance over time and fate itself. The Almighty grants Yhwach the ability to perceive countless futures, stretching infinitely from the present moment. He doesn't just see a single linear path, he observes every potential outcome, every possible branch of reality, like countless grains of sand sifting through his fingers. But the true, horrifying power of the Almighty is not merely to gaze, it is to alter those futures. Yhwach can choose any future he sees, even those where he has been defeated or killed, and simply nullify them, bringing a different, more favorable future into existence in the present. This isn't reality warping in the traditional sense, it's fate warping. Any power or ability that he knows from the future will become entirely useless against him. His knowledge becomes a shield, his foresight a weapon that negates all opposition before it even truly manifests. He can set traps based on perfect precognition, counter any move before it's conceived, and even resurrect himself by bringing about a future where he survived. This ability, rooted in his heightened ocular perception, makes him functionally invincible to any conventional attack. The philosophical implication here is devastating. If one being can see and manipulate all possible futures, then free will becomes an illusion. Every choice, every effort, every struggle against him is preordained to fail because he has already accounted for it, already written its demise. He sees himself not just as a participant in destiny, but as its ultimate author, making all resistance seem utterly futile, a tragic farce played out for his amusement. He is the end of all possibilities, not sanctioned by him. The Schrift system and Oswallen control devolution and the ultimate servitude. Yhwach's methods of power distribution further solidify his tyrannical philosophy. Beyond his innate soul distribution, he refined this process through the Schrift system, By engraving a letter into the souls of his chosen Quincy, he bestows upon them a unique, powerful ability, essentially sharing a piece of his being and spiritual power. This creates the stern rider, his elite guard, each a direct extension of his will and power. This system creates an absolute hierarchy and a profound sense of dependence. The stern rider are immensely powerful, but their power is ultimately borrowed. This is epitomized by Osvalin, the holy selection. When Yhwach needs to replenish his strength or eliminate perceived weaknesses within his ranks, he can forcibly reclaim the soul fragments and powers he distributed. The way and seek empower. This is depicted as a horrifying pillar of light that consumes the Quince, leaving them lifeless and powerless. It's a cruel, absolute mechanism of control, emphasizing that all Quince, all power derived from him, ultimately belongs to him. Philosophically, Osvalin underscores Yhwach's belief in absolute utility and the expendability of all beings save himself. He is the ultimate user, the cosmic collector, who sees individuals not as living entities, but as reservoirs of power to be tapped and discarded. It's the ultimate negation of autonomy, reducing even his most loyal followers to mere batteries in his grand design, reinforcing that his will is the only will that truly matters. The Soul King's succession. The grand assimilation and the blurring of worlds. Yhwach's ultimate ambition culminates in his desire to assimilate the Soul King and merge the three worlds, Soul Society, the human world, and Yhwach Mundo, back into a singular primordial existence. The Soul King historically was the linchpin that kept the balance of these separate dimensions, preventing their collapse. Yhwach views this separation as an unnatural, impure state, a stagnation. His goal is not merely to rule these separate worlds, but to fuse them, to return them to a state he perceives as their original form. This act of cosmic assimilation is the ultimate expression of his unifying, destructive philosophy. By absorbing the Soul King, he gains unimaginable spiritual pressure and the power to bend reality itself on a fundamental level. He believes this act will eliminate the concepts of life and death as distinct states, and ultimately eradicate the fear and suffering that humanity experiences. However, his method is not one of gentle unification, but of forced, violent amalgamation. He believes that true peace can only be achieved through the elimination of all differences, all individual will, and all separate existence. It's a totalitarian vision of utopia, where the suffering he creates is a necessary, albeit immense, pain on the path to a static, absolute, and ultimately dead state of being dictated solely by him. He seeks to become the very axis of existence, dissolving all boundaries, consuming all opposition, and establishing an eternal, silent reign where nothing can defy his omnipotent will. He truly sees himself as the god of Bleach, not just ruling it, but being its very essence, its final unchangeable form. In conclusion, Yhwach is a masterwork of villainous design, a character who embodies complex philosophical concepts far beyond simple good versus evil. He is the ultimate expression of control, a chilling vision of nihilism cloaked in divine purpose, and a terrifying argument for the absolute tyranny of will over all forms of life and freedom. His legacy is not just one of destruction, but of an existential challenge to the very meaning of being. What are your thoughts on Yhwach's terrifying quest to unify the worlds and erase free will? Do you see him as a necessary evil or simply an absolute force of destruction? Let me know your insights in the comments. below. If you found this extensive deep dive thought-provoking, please consider hitting that like button, sharing the video with fellow fans, and subscribing to the channel for more philosophical breakdowns of iconic characters and the rich universes they inhabit. Until next time, keep thinking critically about the stories that shape our worlds.